Hi Aquarius, my sun sign brothers and sisters, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, for those of you that pledged and decided to be a part of my Kickstarter, I truly want to say a big thank you so much for helping me smash that goal. It really does mean a lot to me, and I'm really chuffed. If you would like to get a present for somebody, or somebody would like to get a present for somebody else, you can do so on the link in the description box below. As part of the Kickstarter, it's still running until the 20th of December. And then for those of you that have ever wanted an FLP session with me, this is your chance to get that and so much more on the winter solstice, the 21st of December. Myself and Denise from HD with Denise Matthews will be putting on a winter solstice alignment session for a fraction of the cost. So if you want to get your seat, trust me, you should get it now. With that, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So for our key to the week, we have the moon card, right? So if there were ever going to be a week, I've got to say it, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Raph. If there were ever going to be a week where you were likely to hear from a friend or an ex or somebody from your past, it's probably going to be this week. This could be a week where old thoughts, old thought patterns, old people from the past, connections from the past, all come rushing back, and it may be that they come thick and fast. And if that's the case, just remember that when anything comes back into your life, there's only ever two reasons. One, so that it can be assimilated, and two, so it can be closed down properly and released, right? Which it is, you know, whether it's meant to be a reconnection or an assimilation, only ever you can really tell yourself that. I will say this though, people have strong wills, and 9 times out of 10, it's only supposed to be an assimilation. It's brought up for you so that you can grab some sort of personal illumination on what happened, close it down properly, and let them, or, you know, whatever, go on its merry way. You know, it's like 1 time out of those 10 that you are meant to reconnect with that person. And, you know, I know a lot of people are kind of like, well, how do you know my one time isn't it? How do you know my time isn't that one time? I don't. But what I'm saying is that's the way that this tends to work. So with that, for our actions and options this week, we have the King of Wands, right? I mean, we've got a Wands card in the Wands from Fire sector, so that works. But your actions and options this week, in a lot of ways, my dear fellow Aquarians, a lot of you could be thrust into the limelight whether you want it or not. This could be a week where, you know, things really expand or explode for you. I mean, this conjunction that's coming up is going to be in our sign, right? So whether you're a sun, moon or ascendant, you are really going to feel this. It's going to be something that in effect puts you, your energy, your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs in the spotlight on the wider world stage. And the thing about the King of Pentacles, the thing about the King of Wands, he's not shy of that, right? He's happy to be the person at the front because he's confident in his abilities. This may very well be a time, and it's funny because I've seen Virgo go through a very similar metamorphosis. This may very well be a time where, you know, one of the things I love about Aquarian energy, we really know what our weaknesses are, but we also know what our strengths are. We don't play one up more than the other. We just kind of say, you know, this is what I do really well, this is what I don't do so well, and we kind of leave it at that. I think what's gonna happen this week though, there may be a personal realization this week that happens to get you almost like saying to yourself, no, you know what, it's time to speak about my strengths. It's time to be aware of what my strengths are, what my skills are, what my gifts are. Also, a fire sign person, an Aries, Leo or Sagittarius, could be coming back in from the past. This could be somebody that you're reconnecting with. for any number of reasons. Pay attention to the way that you feel in this person's presence. Pay attention to the words that they use. Pay attention to the energy that they bring. That is going to be your indicator of whether you're supposed to reconnect with this person or whether you're meant to have the conversation and the connection and say, you know what, that's great. Thank you for all that you taught me and you brought me. I hope that I brought you something in return. And we go off on our merry, off on our merry ways and into our own directions. For our communications and conversations, we have the Ten of Cups. So this is great. There's a bit of a mitigating factor here, which I'm kind of glad about, because it means that whatever reconnections you are making this week, or whoever it is that comes back into the fold from, this week, it does suggest that the connection is going to be amicable and amiable. It does tell me as well that this week you might have some really good news that comes to the home, but I kind of feel like there's going to be a pendulum swing. You're going to have one piece of news that is really great, and you're going to have one piece of news that you're like, okay, I need to think about how I process and assimilate this. So there's a lot of good news coming to the home, and there are some really wonderful things, but there are also going to be some things that make you think, that you're going to have to find a way to traverse. And then when it comes to like literally your communications, this could be where somebody is offering you something that you... And because I don't want it to sound like a really wild claim, but this is the easiest way that I can put it. This could be something that maybe was like a wild dream to you at one point. Maybe someone comes back, and it's the Moon card, right? So it's the past. It's not always an easy card. Sometimes the Moon card can be really shady, but sometimes it can be literally the light of the full moon bringing a spotlight to something. And I kind of feel, coupled with this Ten of Cups, this is that energy. It's kind of like, almost like something that you maybe thought was done or over or was gone, now comes back. You have another shot at the apple, as they say, another bite of the apple. For your money and materials, you have the Strength card. So a Leo person may feature for you this week. There might be a Leo that comes back into your life in some regard. Interesting. You got this with the Strength card as well. So I will say this is very likely to be the week where you hear from an ex. It's very likely to be where you hear from somebody who maybe once meant a lot to you on a heart space level, and that doesn't have to be an ex-partner. Sometimes it could be a friend that you no longer speak to, somebody, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many ways that it can play out, but somebody that you really had a lot of love for could be coming back into the fold, and it could be a really good, maybe a very heartfelt, heart-to-heart conversation takes place, maybe a very frank conversation that leads to some sort of healing. It's definitely possible with these cards, and that makes me happy. So yeah, for your money and material, for your finances, that Strength card is basically saying, what do you want? What do you want at that heart space level? When you envision your finances being good and easy and flowing, what does that look like for you? This is a time for you to get specific with your wishes, right? If you've got a wish list, imagine the universe is kind of like Santa, right? And imagine Jupiter is kind of like Santa, and he's coming into the sign of Aquarius, right? Literally a day after this week ends. So what do you want? Write your list, start to think about this stuff. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, your back, your spine and your heart, look after these. I mean, all of our arteries take a beating around this time, right? Because of the food and overindulgence. But, just something to be aware of. And as I said to one of the other signs, just because I say these areas, it doesn't mean that every single person that has Aquarius energy, prominently in their chart is suddenly going to have heart problems or back problems. It's just that if you do have any physical problems, these are the likely places that they will manifest. And then for your home and environment, this could be you maybe opening the home, or maybe inviting somebody round. Maybe, it could be literally that. Maybe you could be inviting someone round that ends up... and, the thing is, I don't feel like it's somebody that you don't know. It's not somebody new. It's likely to be somebody that you already know that's coming back into the fold. I'm just like, there's a part of me that kind of knows but doesn't know and is a bit like, I'm just... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. For our love and relations, we've got that Eight of Cups. So for those of us that are single, and for those of us that are reconnecting with exes, ex-partners, etc., this tells me you are meant to reconnect, to close something down on a good space or in a good level, but you are meant to move on from here. This is a card of forward progression, not looking backward, right? So, and this is coupled with the Ten of Cups. I think in a lot of ways, what this is going to give you is that peace of mind of, you know what, that chapter of my life is now done and I can walk past, I can walk forward without carrying the baggage or the burden of the past, which is beautiful. For those of you that are partnered or in relationships, this is something that you guys have maybe carried that has been a problem or been a challenge in the relationship. And this is you saying to yourself more than anybody else, my part of this problem in or with our relationship, I'm putting down. So maybe you're saying to your partner, that stuff, I'm taking my hands off. So from now on, when this shit comes back up, it's nothing to do with me. This is on you. All right. And fair play to you. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have an amazing week. Let me know how it shapes up for you in the comments. Take care.